Hi, everybody. As many of you already know, I'm Jonathan. I will be presenting my video about the principles involved in syllabus design. Let me share my screen and let us begin. The first organizing principle would be a set of questions that are very important to reflect when we start designing a syllabus. These are, would the syllabus be organized around grammatical structure or around topics or around functional areas, or maybe a combination of the three? Having decided on the organizing principle, then two crucial decisions are implicated in the design: the grading and the selection. What is the selection? What to put into it. And what is the grading? In what order? The factors that influence the choice and order of the items in the syllabus can be broken down into two main groups: the utility group and the learnability group. There will be items that are useful but not easy to learn, and on the other hand, items that are easy to learn but not helpful. So as you can see, this is a huge dilemma when we have to design a syllabus, because there will be items that will be useful but not easy to learn, or the opposite. So within the group of utility, we have frequency. The more frequently an item occurs in real language use, the more useful it may be. We have lexical frequency, and there is also grammatical frequency. As many of you already know, there are lists of high frequency words that we are recommended to use when we start teaching some learners. The English language corpora has been very useful in supplying information about word frequency. Then we have the range. Some language items are frequent only in certain contexts. It means that they have a limited range. So the wider the range of an item, the more useful it would be, and it should be included in a syllabus. Then we have coverage. It refers to the number of uses an item has. And the author in the anthology explained the difference between the coverage between these two different items, would and used to. Then the needs. Although it's very important to identify the learner's needs before designing a syllabus, when we don't know the learner's needs, which is very common, it would be a great idea to design an all-purpose grammar syllabus, especially with young learners. And here we have two important elements to distinguish: the high surrender items versus the low surrender items. The high surrender items are related to the short-term needs, and the low surrender items are related to the long-term needs. Items that can be surrendered right away are the high surrender items, versus the items that will be surrendered at a later time, which are the low surrender ones. So this is another way on deciding on when we want to decide what items to include in a syllabus. And then within the group of learnability, we have 5 factors. They are the difficulty, complexity, regularity, similarity, and teachability. There are some views about the learnability of items. One view is the behaviorist one. The more similar an item is to the learner's mother tongue, the more learnable. Another view is that an item that is more simple, then it would be more learnable. However, these two views are very simplistic because they don't really reflect the complexity around teaching and learning different language items. And that's why the natural order of language acquisition research has shown that there is another way or possibility to learn a language item different from the previous one, from the previous views, which is the natural order of language acquisition. However, I am not going to discuss this because the purpose of this presentation is only to present the principles that are involved in the syllabus design. Regarding difficulty, it's the complexity of an item to be taught due to its interdependent elements, or it requires several operations to get it. Complexity is, well, one question that it's important to keep in mind is what makes an item complex? And there is no easy answer to this question. A lot of discussions have been carried out by experts or language experts. And okay, and then we have the regularity. Regular items are usually programmed before those items that don't have greater generalizability. Similarity, items that may be easily confused with the mother tongue or L1. And here I wrote down cognates and plural forms of nouns. And finally, teachability. How easy is for the teacher to present the form and meaning of an item? The variables that affect the teachability of an item are the teacher's resourcefulness, the resources, the learning context, the method, and the approach. And to conclude my presentation, here I included 10 of the hardest topics to teach and learn. Well, I am talking about teaching these topics to young learners. I teach 5th and 6th graders. So they are kids that go from 10 to 12 years old. I would be very glad if you can provide me with some useful ideas or techniques that you have used when you have taught these topics to your learners. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.